Lovely chatting with you all. And the thing is, I watched the movie, I loved it. But we are sitting here at Excel, where it all began. You all work together, and now Tiger Baby is roaring really loud. So how does it feel?
It feels amazing. Absolutely amazing. No, seriously, I mean, like, we've been working together for actually 23 years is what people know of, because that's when Chahta released. But I mean, even before that, we're just like working on possibilities of ideas and various things. It's been a really, really long association, and Zoya and Rima have both had this ambition, this dream to have their own production company, to have their own identity, their own voice, and to see that it's being respected and recognized the world over, not just in India, fills me with so much happiness and so much pride.
Awesome. And both of you have very distinct voices. I mean, both of you have very distinct voices. How would you define the other, if I was to ask, when it comes to, because you have your own style, your own grammar.
I think
loud and soft.
Yeah, I think directorially, yes. I think narratively, it's a bit trickier because we all work on each other's narratives. So the lines are very blurred there. But directorially, I think we all have a different approach. But I think storytelling-wise and writer-wise, I think we all are that Venn diagram, we all overlap. Yeah.
Have there ever been arguments and disagreements right here?
Yeah. Many.
What would you have to say?
I mean, yeah, but isn't that a part of creative collaboration? How can you agree on everything all the time? It's not possible. So I mean, there have been disagreements, and depending on who gets the loudest and the most aggressive usually wins. So
I think the best argument wins.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, the best argument wins. And
I retract my joke.
No, but even the good thing out of it, what happens, which I think over the years we've realized that, at the end of it, when you sit back and watch what you've made, right? And you'll know at one point somebody had said something about it when the script was being spoken about, and you get that even with people you hire, right? All your HODs who come on board, the actors come on because they are the ones who are going to start bringing those characters to life. You'll keep having, but we'll never go back and say, see, I told you this. I think that is, what says that whether it sails or sinks or whatever happens with it, you stand supporting each other of that, So I think that's, the reason we still keep going ahead.
And I think that's the point of having more than two heads, or more than, if everybody's the same, then what's the point? You might as well work with yourself. Why do you need two other people?
Yes.
Absolutely. And coming to this film, so coming of age, stories. I mean, back in the day, Dil Chahta Hai was the first one for all of us, because we used to earlier watch Hollywood films. Then came Zindagi Milegi Na Dobara. Now we have this, which speaks to this generation. But when you came up with this, since the three of you collaborated on, and you also worked with them on Gully Boy, what did the dynamics change? Because when you're working with them now, when you're working alongside, what was that like, Arjun?
Honestly, they make it so easy and it's so pleasurable. And again, a lot of it happened during COVID, during the lockdown.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it was on those Zoom calls, But I think it was generally a very collaborative affair. It was, yes, there were arguments, yes, there were debates, but it worked so well for the script. And I think having, of course, I am a part of the generation, but also for them, having them look at it, our generation from the outside, I think gives it a very nuanced perspective as well.
And that did come across because we are the same generation. And I was looking at it, and it hit me hard on many ways because we are all seeking validation. So who came up with the idea though first, and what was, lovely, awesome. So what was that like? And also the casting, I just think these three just fit their characters so beautifully that if I hadn't known that they were actors, I would think they are who they are. So what was that process like?
If we take, with the idea, I think it came honestly through discussion. It came while I was working with Zoe as our DA, we were just talking about my generation and her generation, the differences. And I think that conversation evolved into Zoe basically saying yo, this is a movie, your generation and the way you guys operate is a movie, and this is something that you should start developing. And I think it came from that conversation, and it just further developed from there. With Zoe and Rima. And as for the casting, that was, each of them just landed their parts so well, and I think they brought so much of themselves. So it looks effortless, but I know they put so much hard work into each of those characters.
And Ruchika, it's really interesting the slate that Netflix has had this year, and especially I'm talking about the movies and the kind of movies I give. It's your second association with them, and I've just loved what we are getting. So, what is the and also a lot of stories of the younger generation. So, are you seeing the market? Is that the demand? Because I think this is like a breath of fresh air from the kind of slice of life, and I've also told them before the stories we were earlier seeing that one could not resonate with, like my generation.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we're really happy that we're home to some of the best stories from Tiger BB and Excel. So we're phenomenally excited about that. I also think, now when we're talking to the audiences, more now than ever, they want to see a little bit of themselves in what they're watching. Because there's an investment on streaming, especially. It's an investment to a story that you're watching. This could be a licensed film like Jawan that comes on our service much later. Or this could be an original film like Kho Gaye, Kahan. So the experiences that we're trying to put out into the world for the whole world to watch in India at large, especially, have to be experiences that they kind of relate to, and they could belong to a more aspirational world, but their problems seem like they could be yours. So I think we're talking to, I don't know about Gen Z, but like first-time jobbers, people who want to punch above the economic strata that they belong to. We're talking to people who have ambition, who have drive, which pretty much is the youth of today. So I think we've just understood that that's an audience that's looking at us to tell their stories and to tell them most authentically, which is why for us it's a matter of pride when we have established filmmakers like Zoya herself, like Reema, Farhan, and Vishal Bharadwaj and Sujoy Ghosh, and then we've got debutant directors like we have Arjun on Kho Gaye Kahan. We had someone called Ajay Singh on Chor Nikal Ke Bhaga. So, having debutant voices and well-established voices, really telling stories that belong to every generation in 2023 just kind of have worked for us, and we're hoping to keep that going.
And Farhan, when you made your first film, there was no social media. Even I don't think we had Facebook then also. We did.
No, I don't think so.
There was no Facebook. By the time Tiger Baby came, we had everything happening. Also, do you think the landscape, the cinematic landscape has changed? Because from Jubilees to the 100 crore club, now it's like trailer ka kitna view aaya, 40 million views, which basically is the demand. Does that also influence you guys, or does it also like make you anxious and the anticipation? Because everything is in those 30-second reels now.
Not me.
Okay.
To be honest, no, seriously, it doesn't.
Yeah, you're just aware of what it is, but I don't think we start getting bothered by it or start getting affected by it. Like, we actually don't even believe in endorsing. I don't know why people start writing on social media. If their movie does well, they say it's done 100 crores, it's done 400. Why is it anybody's concern? We don't care about somebody else's business, what it does. Nobody goes and posts results on their social media about what my balance sheet was. Why do people have to talk about it? I just think it's pointless, but it's happening. You just don't have to look at it. You have to keep
the thing
going.
that I think most about, I mean, apart from, it's not about social media and stuff, is really there is a certain bravado that you have when you're making your first film. And I think that because you don't know where your career is going to go and what's going to happen with this film. So the risk that you're willing to take or the courage that you're willing to show is, I feel, tremendous because you want to like create an impact.
Yeah.
And then I feel that with passing time and the more that you keep working on film and working with different people, you're constantly being told, and the feeling that you get is to be cautious, and to like kind of be a little bit safe and like you're saying, like make sure that you cover these bases and cover those bases. And I think that's the thing that you have to keep battling. That's what you have to keep like kind of trying to like avoid succumbing to, is to kind of keeping that, what was it about making films that really, really excited you in the first place? Yeah. The minute it comes into this numbers, business, oh, if I don't do this, that means it's not successful. The minute that starts becoming the narrative inside your head, I think then you're not in it for doing what was the first love, which was like kind of doing that. And I feel that's something that I try my best to stay focused on.
Yeah, but on Dil
Yeah, I
Chahta,
personally as a filmmaker really don't feel validated if 50 million people have seen the trailer. It doesn't matter. It really matters how many people watch the film, how many people connect to it,
Now it's the memes also that gauge the success of your movie.
Well,
as his generation. The more the memes, the better. It's like, that's the new box office. But I mean, you have a point here, but also, Zoya, is it easier? I mean, it's to all of you. Is it easier to make films or tougher now? Because back in the day, again, I'm giving the example of Dil Chahta hai, and the recall value, till date those lines, हम केक खाने के लिए कहीं भी चले जाते हैं, ज़िंदगी मिलेगी ना दोबारा, BPL, You'll suddenly think
I
of.
think that'll still happen. I think if people love a film and think that'll continue to happen. If you fall for a movie or fall for a character in a movie, and it's one of those movies that has a repeat value, that will happen. But it's, I think, easier to make a film today than it was. It was tough. You had only theatrical. You had only those many actors, that much funding in the market. So it was harder to get a movie made. Ask me. I think it's much easier to get a film made today. To get it to break through might be tough because it's just so much noise.
Yeah.
There's just so much to watch. So something that sticks and something that works or something that is talked about is harder to do today. But it's easier to get it made. I mean, you can make a film on a phone.
Which is true.
The technology is there. You can make a movie much easier today. You can put
but
it out.
having said that, I think there is a whole side to filmmaking which is tough and that has nothing to do with social media.
Yeah.
It's about just, what Kurosawa said, good film, bad film, you still have to wake up in the morning really early. So, yeah.
But what is your relationship with social media, if I may ask? Because, this is a generation that's growing up with social media. It's like the light. What Siddhant's character says, they live for that one post, that one like, bell icon, that's their life. That's how they live. Ek reel banaunga to tumhara sabun bik jayega. That kind of stuff. So what is your relationship? Do you watch social media?
Yeah, I'm only on Instagram. And I enjoy Instagram because it's very visual. So the kind of people I follow, I follow a lot of artists. I follow a lot of different types of things.
Yeah.
And I like the visual aspect of it.
And what about the two of you? What's your relationship with social media?
I mean, very less actually. I'm only on Instagram, not on Facebook or the other platforms. I was on Twitter, but I think I use it very, very less for anything personal. But it's mainly for your work. That's about it. So if you'll go back and even see my handle, you'll see you'll see more of it right now. It's only Kho Gaye.
So it's an important tool for promotions as well. No?
Yeah, that is for sure.
Yeah.
Of course, you can reach a large number of people by putting one post out. So it's great for that.
And if you want to engage with people today, that's one of the mediums for where you can create that awareness, the eagerness to come and watch your film. Because, like I said, there's so much distraction with so many other things going around to get their attention, to coming in, to commit to a time, to drive to a cinema to watch your film, or even to watch it on the platform. You have to make it literally like an event for them.
Absolutely, absolutely. You were saying something.
Yeah, it's also actually made the world a smaller place.
Yeah.
It's also allowed you to put your talent out there. It would have been so much harder without it. And I know that the perils of social media sometimes outweigh the pleasures of it. But the world feels like a small place. Today, you've got incredible influencers who are, mismatched into season 3. And I don't know if we would have stumbled upon talent like Prajakta if it wouldn't have been for social media. So I think while on some days the perils outweigh the pleasures and the nice parts of it, it's changed the world order.
Absolutely. Yeah. And now I'm coming to another thing. I won't name the actor which I mentioned who it was, actually said that I do not get called for audition because I need to build my social media numbers. Because, for them, it's all about image. This is the branding and the image, which she also talks about. And you've worked with some of the biggest, most established names. Now you also have these young kids you're working with. Do you think it's way tougher for them because they have to keep presenting themselves in a certain way? And does that some way influence your decision when it comes to casting? Who's like?
No, I have never cast somebody because of their social media following. I mean, I know that happens, and I think that happens also a lot more in the West, I would say, than here, because you read about that. I don't see people here talking like that, and I don't see casting directors operating like that, or my filmmaker friends operating like that. So I don't think that happens so much, but it is difficult. But having said that, I think it's a very personal choice.
Yeah.
I think what is important is to keep honing your craft, to get roles that would resonate. They needn't be leads. I think they could be good parts in good films. And working with good filmmakers, I think that's more important than how many likes you have on a post. Yeah. I don't think that's going to get you there.
Absolutely. Farhan, what about you?
No, I completely agree with what Zoya is saying. When we watch a piece of work, I think your question is slightly different, but that's an understanding, I guess, one will need to have if they really, really go and research it a lot more.
Yeah.
you know, that do people get cast because they have larger social numbers. But when you're watching something, you're not stopping to think about that.
Yeah.
You know, when you watch a, whether it's an actor's work or whoever's work, you know, I mean, if the performance is great, the last thing that's on your mind is like, oh my God, is this person being followed by, you know, many people? And it's, I mean, the fact is that we have stars, we have incredible actors emerging in theatrical films, in platform films, who we maybe never heard of before, you know, some kind of a big breakthrough performance. That's how you discovered them. You didn't even discover them on social media. You know, you just discovered them. So eventually your talent is going to take you places. You know, it is a struggle, of course. It was a struggle even before social media. You know, it will remain a struggle. Maybe an additional kind of thing has been thrown into the mix, maybe. You know, but I mean, if you're talented, like Zoya is saying, you know, you have to keep working on that and keep believing, you know, that it's going to be possible for you if you're good, and it will happen.
So what is a Zoya Akhtar set like versus a Farhan Akhtar set?
What is it?
What is the vibe like?
Well, hers is more current. Mine happened about 12 years.
No, I think we work with similar people. So it's kind of the same. I don't think both of us are very, we really enjoy working. We love what we do. So we are not those type of people that, you know, if you enter set, please stand up, or nobody speaks around. We're not those people. We don't have that kind of, there's a built-in hierarchy, which is just there because that's the way a film crew is structured. But beyond that, there's it's quite fluid. It's very easy. It's fun.
And since you've also worked with her in the capacity of an actor as well, as a producer and a director, is he her taskmaster or is he her taskmaster?
He's harder.
Am I?
I think so.
Maybe.
As a director, I think so. I think I'm a little...
Zoe's pretty chill as her former DA. I can attest to it.
Farhan,
I'm sure
I mean,
Farhan is.
Just because my DA is not sitting here.
I see. He's also pretty chill. Yeah.
Reema, on the other hand,
Oh yeah, tell it all, spill it all.
Yes.
That look was enough for you to know what
I know, and then there will be Talash Part 2.
Would you like to complete your sentence?
We launch Talash Part 2 after your look. After your look to him, we launched Talash Part 2. But also with Excel and Tiger Baby, what is the road ahead in terms of the kind of stories that appeal to you vis-a-vis the kind, because you have also been doing a whole lot of other stuff, you know. So what is the road ahead in terms of narratives and the stories?
I don't think we decide that. I don't think we're like, okay, next year, 2024, like these are the themes we're going to, we don't work like that. So it's as and when things come up, like this came out of a conversation and I was like, listen, put this to paper, it's great. Tomorrow it could be something we read in the newspaper. It could be a genre I'm dying to explore. It could be an idea that comes to him, but he's looking to, you know, get it written or produced. It's just very,
Organic.
It's organic. We don't plan like, let's do these narratives now and let's set out. Maybe we should start doing that. We don't know.
No, but if you
it's
do,
much more,
if you do look at our work, I mean, it's very, very different things. Even if you take our year, for example, you know, there was Kahan, Made in Heaven, Archie, and now Kho Gaye. So
they're very different types
it's
of
very
projects.
different.
Absolutely.
And it's so random that I don't think you can have a plan for this.
True.
It just happens organically.
And with Excel, I mean, what's the road ahead? I know something exciting, a lot of exciting things are coming up, but in terms of
I mean, there are quite a few films which actually we finished filming last year, which were all actually from the coming out of the pandemic. So now we're looking forward to releasing. We have like 4 movies which are all complete and they are all out now. Right now the attention is on Kho Gaye, and then in 2024 we'll have all these movies releasing, plus starting some other films as well. But like I said, these are all, they have to come to you, like, you know, creatively this is what, you can't just sit and think, okay, I have to write a story today and I have to make a film and it has to release in Q4 or Q3. Fortunately, we don't have those problems. We'll just do it when we're thinking it's the right time to getting it out there.
So Farhan, basically when do we see you wearing the director's hat?
I'll be directing, we've announced Dawn 3. That's going to be happening. So that'll happen at the end of next year. Is when I'll start directing. I'm really excited.
Cool. All right. So Ruchika, what for Netflix? What can we expect in terms of the stories and narratives? And also after Kho Gaye Hum Kahan, will we see a lot in this space?
I think the beauty about our slate is no two titles look like each other. I mean, just case in point in how we've sort of had the year, whether it's Trial by Fire, it's The Railwaymen, Jaane Ja, Khufia, The Archies, Kho Gaye. They're all so different from each other. So I think 2024 really looks as distinctive, as diverse, as different, and very excited about it. I keep saying that Kho Gaye Hum Kaha is like the New Year gift to the world.
Yeah, it is a New Year gift, and also resolutions to be made, because we do get that. I think we all need to learn a lot from this film, because I guess somewhere, whether we are 15 or 50, we are all, I think, slaves to social media. But also the fact is OTT and theatre, we see that actors want to coexist in both spaces. As an actor actually called OTT his alter ego in comparison to what he does in cinema. Where do you see this going? This in terms of theatrical versus OTT now?
I think there's no versus. They're both here to stay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's this. I don't think there's
So
anything.
in terms of theatrical being more
Yes,
like
it's a completely different experience, and they're not interchangeable. That's why they're both here to stay. If they were interchangeable, one would die off. But the fact that they're so distinct that you can't. I feel the future will be in a way structuring things where I'm speaking, but I don't know. But I think that where streamers will also do certain projects that will be theatrical and then to streaming. I think streaming in India will start, which is what they do abroad, is they make projects that go to theatre first. So I think that's eventually in India that will also start happening. But both mediums are here to stay. You can't exchange the experience.
absolutely. But do you have anything to say to that?
No, I completely agree. And I think, I mean, as an actor, your job is to be honest in your performance, you know, and I think that's really where your work, as far as your job should be, that's what you should be thinking about. People are going to like what you do, whether they consume it theatrically or whether they consume it on platform, if your work is good and if the film is good. So I just think that, I mean, as it's really important to just stay true to what it is that you need to be doing, and the rest will happen by itself.
Also, a skill from the other that you would want to like swap or take from the two of you, brother, sister.
A what? A skill.
Skill.
From Zoe, I think her ability to empathize and to find empathy in people and characters and stories. From Rima, I think focus, dedication, and ability to analyze things, and I would definitely.
Okay, now can you tell us the same answer like they're not here?
Okay, then
The sniper's back on.
is the red light? No, but like honestly, just like Zoe's so chill, and Rima's also extremely chill, and I hope to be as open-minded as them, and the ability just.
You know, it's funny that everyone says Zoya is very chill, but sometimes I get the feeling that she must be like very strict on set.
Not at
Not
all.
at all.
Yeah, I know, because everyone I
No,
speak to.
not at all, because I work with such a top-end crew. My crew is so good that you don't need to have that. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to assert, because they are pros. They are like. They're top of their game. So everything is just there for you.
And most of them are common in all your films. So
Yeah.
they wouldn't be back if they were.
Yeah.
And actually, rarely, even as an AD, have I worked with a director who's strict in that sense.
Yeah.
That's not really.
That's because the AD was so strict, nobody else.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
That's the
saying.
AD's
It's
job.
the AD's job.
The first AD's job is
first
to crack
AD is
the
supposed
whip,
to be
not the
strict.
We hear
directors.
stories of the director having a tantrum and a
Rima's
meltdown.
story is
and
about being an AD of for Mr. Bachchan. He met her at the premiere and he told her, he looked at Rima and straight we went back to the lunch day. Remember
Yeah.
he said?
No, but
Yeah.
it's the first AD's job to crack the whip. I mean, the directors don't really.
So, I mean, if the director is being strict, probably the first AD needs to be fired.
Yeah, you should get
It's like
another
the
first
president
AD.
and the prime minister.
But also,
Yeah.
I feel, but if everyone feels comfortable on set, and if everyone feels like this is their work
Yeah.
and they own it, then I think you just get the best
Yeah.
outcome.
So a skill from the two of you, now you can answer that.
What is that?
A skill that you want to take, a skill that, you wish you had and she wish she had of yours.
God. I don't know. I genuinely feel that I wish I could write as well as Zoya writes. I do wish that. I think she's an amazing writer. Actually, Rima and her, both of them, they write really, really well. And every time I read their scripts, I'm always blown away when I read their scripts. So if there's more that I can imbibe from their writing, that's something that I would wish for.
Wow.
For sure.
I would say two things. One is film and one is not film. Film, I think what I envy with Farhan is he has the brain of an editor. I'm getting better, but I still don't have that, he sees his cut very clean. I'm still working on that. And the other thing is off camera, which is discipline. I'm quite disciplined, but I don't have, I will eat that bowl of ice cream. I will eat it. So I just want to be like him. I don't have that.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Ruchika, which is your favorite film from Excel and Tiger Baby?
You've asked a very difficult
Yeah,
question.
The plug, it's on Netflix. Kho Gaye Humka.
But honestly,
I
when
thought you're going to ask me what skill, and I was like, maybe all of, they put their skills into their films and their series, so all of that should just be on Netflix. So that's pretty simple answer.
totally agree
Yeah,
with that.
it's
There'll be
simple
a
answer.
streaming war that will happen, but I totally get with that. But anyways, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fantastic film and a great way to start the new year.
Thank
Maybe
you.
we should just
Thank
take
you.
Ahana's rule book and
Thank
sort of
you.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you've liked this interview, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram.